Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Quite fun.
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series Mercenary Guard Droid as seen in The Mandalorian and Grogu. These guys were really cool droids that you see all over Nal Hutta in the movie. They are a bunch of droid mercenaries that the Hutts are using as security, and they basically are just the general grunts that Mando's mowing down during the end of the movie. Very cool figure, very cool design, something very toyetic. When the first wave of figures came out and it didn't include this guy, I bought the Funko Pop because I thought the design was so cool. I needed something. And so here we are in Wave 2. I picked up the first edition to keep in the box. I've got a couple of the standard ones that are going to be opened, and I'm just very excited. This guy looks very interesting. It has potential to be potentially one of the higher end figures of the year, in my opinion, just because there's a lot of really cool design elements that go into it. So I'm very excited to get into this one. Let's go ahead and dive into the review so that I can get this guy in my hands. Let's go. Of course, before opening them, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure in the packaging. So if you have a first edition one, your packaging experience is going to be very similar to the mainline one, except the front of the box features a lot of white on that one, and you have a sticker that says first edition in a few languages. Otherwise, both boxes feature a big Black Series logo at the top, window showing the figure and the accessories off nicely, the name and number 9 in the Mando and Grogu lineup, Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu in blue, warning, 4+ Hasbro. Sides of the box feature that cool artwork that makes the mural. This side still features your wraparound stripe, your wraparound window, and your Black Series logo at the bottom. Around back, you have a image of the character, a Black Series logo, and then a bio more about the movie than the character. Number 9, Mando and Grogu again. A bunch of legal stuff, Disney logo, Hasbro logo, barcode and legal stuff underneath, hanger tab up top. Very standard action figure packaging stuff, all set. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of the box, not the white one. Let's go. Here's the Mercenary Guard Droid out of the packaging, and I will give an initial impression, which I don't typically do, but very good. So let's go ahead and dive in. This guy's just awesome. Alright, accessories first. He comes with the Mercenary Guard Droid Blaster, which is very similar to like a prequel Battle Droid Blaster, but it is a little bit slimmer. It's accurate to what you see in the movie. You see there's like some inspirations, and as you see, this guy's got like a B1 droid head, but he's got body parts of all sorts of different droids going on, so it's like, obviously, Battle Droid stuff isn't exclusively what was available to the Droid Union thing here. So, very nice blaster. Dark gray color, I think I mentioned. It's not quite black, but it looks nice. And then he comes with this staff. I don't remember if they had an electric effect or not. I've only seen the movie in theaters 5 times. But the, it looks like it potentially could up here with these, like, probe-looking tips. But this thing's painted very nice. It's got some yellow striping up here. It's got some silver on the handle. I think the dark gray is actually the plastic color. It's got a very glossy, smooth finish to it. It's a little bit rubbery. Not as rubbery as some of these like spear weapons tend to get, but it does have flex. So if it like takes a shelf dive, it's more prone to warping than snapping. But very nice. Very nice looking staff weapon. Now onto this masterpiece. I remember when the figure got revealed on that live stream and looking at the solicitation images after, being so impressed by them and just knowing that this figure was going to be something special. Plus the design in general just being very appealing to me before the figure was ever even revealed. To the point that it made me wishing this figure would get made. So, hey, there we go. When this figure got revealed, I was under the impression that it was going to have this all-over texture of this, like, rotted, think like rusty metal. It gets all that, like, pitting and stuff. And there was photos that kind of showed that. But it's actually mostly paint on this torso. And that is just insane how they've made that come across. Because in the photos, it was almost, I don't want to say deceptive, because some people are like, it doesn't look like the photo, and that's bad. That's not my mentality. I'm happy that it looks as good as it does. It's just like, wow, like they've painted this guy to really look like he's old, he's rusty, he's got rotten plating, this guy's like been beat to hell. and it's just a superb design. I love how you kind of have at its core a B1 head, but it's been beefed up. There's been things added to it. He has that same hinge on the back for the ears that like most of the normal Battle Droid Black series have, but gosh, that neck has been beefed up. He's got these big extra sensors put on either side, and like, I'm gonna call them mandibles there. This guy just looks sick. Very, very cool. It's almost like the B1 Battle Droid had like an upgrade somewhere that, you know, just the Empire and the Rebellion didn't use, but someone said, hey, let's make a version 2 of this guy that's not the B2. And what a cool design. Really liking the soft goods like shoulder cloak here. It's got some tattering up here that tends to kind of stick up a little bit, but as you see, you just kind of mess with it a little bit. It lays down pretty nice. Looks nice and tattered. Lifting that up, you do see he has 2 different sculpted arms, although they are the same color. I like to see that. And that's the thing, this guy's got a lot of color going on, but none of it very bright. You know, he's got a leg from this guy and an arm from that guy, and, you know, it's very, very unique. The cape actually wraps around the neck and then has an elastic that goes under this arm. So you'd have to like fish this arm out and probably pop the head off to pull that off. But I don't think we saw any of them in the movie not wear a cloak. So I think we're just going to leave it on. This shoulder pad is kind of like the 2020 Clone Trooper, where it's very, very rubbery. It's not going to affect your articulation, but it is glued at the bottom of the pad to the bicep, whereas this one is on the ring in there, although this one, again, incredibly rubbery too. So, interesting stuff. Another thing, you know, I mean, just like, and I had to like dig out some photos and really make sure, but I'm sitting here at the table getting ready to film the review, and I'm like, is this Q90's arm? And the thing that was really selling it for me is the wires here, but it's not, even though it's incredibly similar. Like, from the elbow down, they could have reused it, but they didn't. The bicep is a very different design, and the shoulder pad is very similar in design, although I don't think they reused anything. This appears to be an entirely new arm. They could have got away with it. I'd have let them. I wouldn't have complained at all, but, like, good job, Hasbro. I like to see that. And then I really like all of the exposed, you know, a lot of Star Wars droids do that, the exposed, like, abdomen area. Not so much paint on the wiring in the back, but in the front you get a lot of nice paint on, like, the pistons going on in there. And then just a lot of really nice, like, weathering effect on the legs. Just little subtle bits of silver. And gosh, this guy just looks really, really good. You look at him and he's like, and you're like, yep, that's a dirty droid there. He's been in the swamps for a while. And I just, gosh, what a great looking action figure. I love everything about these guys. They don't have like an insane amount of screen time, you know, and there's a variety of them, and I'd like to get all of them. I'm more excited about these than I would be for like the Jedi Survivor battle droids that they kept repainting, you know, like after a while with those, you're kind of like, ooh, another repainted battle droid. You know, at least these have like some unique designs. I'd like to see some repaints of this guy. I vaguely recall one that had a white head like this, and I think it's the same body. They could potentially redo that. And then Vintage Collection got the Super Battle Droid version, because they had some Super Battle Droids in the Droid Mercenary group as well. So that would be cool. Come on, balance the scales, as the TVC people always scream into the ether. Let's get the Super Battle Droid one in the Black Series. I think that would be a very cool addition to the Mando and Grogu shelf, which is a substantial shelf so far. We've got like 10 figures for, or 9 so far. And yeah, really not able to complain there. But gosh, this guy's so cool. Let's run through some articulation. There's some actually really interesting stuff going on here. Nothing like groundbreaking, but it's just nice to see that he turned out as good as he did. He has that double ball neck going on, which allows him to look that far up, which doesn't look like a ton, but given, you know, some of the design here, that's all right. And then that far forward, so he's not going to bury his chin. That's fine. You get a ton of rotation and all that pivot in there. You know, this guy, all the attitude you could ever want from him. As I mentioned, this shoulder pad up here, when you raise it up, it does kind of have to push up out of the way there. And then, interestingly, I think these arms are on a ball joint in there of like a cup around it, like some of these newer Marvel Legends do. You see, I bring that up. You see, that kind of like comes out with it. And then you finally get the hinge to like let it move, because it's got like detents in it. And yeah, you can go forward and back, but you can also go up and down with it in there too. That's interesting stuff. You can, of course, 360 the arm at the shoulder with the single jointed elbows. going a little past 90. You have a swivel at the upper arm, although on this one, he has some tubes. I call this intelligent articulation. None of anyone seemed to have got it with Jango Fett, but when you got tubes there, you can't just take both hands and romp on it and then be like, why'd the tubes break? So, when you have this arm bent, rotate it until it gets snug, and then stop. Don't go until you break it and then try to claim it's a bad figure. And then he has a forearm rotation on this side. On this side, he does not. It's a different style of arm, so this arm only goes to about 90 degrees. And then the rest do 360, of course, with the left hinging up and down, and the right hinging in and out. So from there, he has like the ball joint in the upper abdomen area, so get some swivel, you get a little bit of pivot, and then you can crunch a little bit forward. Not much back, not a huge amount, but you can get him to kind of like lean forward like he's running at you, so like that's enough. And then the legs can only go about that far out, which isn't the greatest, but you get that like armor plating up there in the way. They are ball jointed on, and so you actually do get a thigh swivel in there. It's very well hidden, so like I'm okay with it, but you also get that turn on the ball joint as well. And then because of that ball joint, obviously you can't go straight up again because of like the hip plate being in the way. But gosh, that's pretty good range. Can't complain too much there. Yeah, the single jointed knees, they don't quite make it to 90. The armor plating hits into itself, but like for what this guy is, I'm okay with that. These knees are interesting too. They have like a big detent in them. They go straight up and down, and then you really have to start like putting a lot of pressure. Now it's starting to turn, and then it snaps to that point there. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot of travel in there, so you can, of course, put it anywhere in between. It's going to be nice and tight and hold a pose. I think a lot of us are probably going to pose them standing straight up and down or in some sort of running pose, so that works. And then the feet go that far down. It feels like they should be able to go more, but gosh, I'm trying to force it as much as I'm comfortable with, and I'm more comfortable than some with that kind of thing. And that's about as far down as it goes. That's about as far forward as it goes. You get a ton of pivot in there. That's enough. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's great articulation, especially considering just some of the limitations this design offers. But all in all, as far as sculpt, articulation, and just paint goes, this guy's beautiful. So here's the Mercenary Guard droid with all of the other Black Series figures from the movie that I have so far at least opened. I do own Embo, he's just not open yet. And I gotta say, he looks really good. These guys are supposed to be a little bit tall, just like the B-1 battle droids, 6 foot and a couple of inches. And so most of your stormtroopers rocking in at 6 inches right on the dot, which at the 1/12 scale means 6 foot. I'm okay with this guy being a quarter of an inch or less taller than everyone else, just a little bit more, not including like the points of the antenna, if you will. But he looks very, very good. Arguably one of the more eye-catching figures from the movie set so far. Look, nothing against stormtroopers. I love my stormtroopers. But gosh, when you have like a whole movie wave that's like, just white armored guys, yeah, the rusty, rotten battle droid just makes it a little bit more eye-catching, if you will. Very cool figure, and a very excellent addition to the Mando and Grogu display. So, end of the day, what do I think of this figure? Wow. I love this guy. This is a great figure, a great addition to the collection, one that I am just so happy to finally be getting on the shelf. Like I said, the second I saw this guy, I was like, I need something. So I bought the Funko Pop, and I've been waiting and waiting. And this guy looks so super duper cool now. I'm just thrilled with it. I mean, this is great. This is one of those things where like the Black Series team really, really shows off some of their best work. They can do a Stormtrooper, they can do a Mandalorian, they can do a Jedi, they can do that all day long. We expect those to be, of a certain standard, and they always are. But you give them something like this that's complicated, a droid with a ton of unique parts and unique deco, or a really unique alien guy or something. And gosh, they always blow your expectations. And my expectations are always pretty good because I know that I'm always happy with everything I get. But just wow. Just, kudos, hats off to the Black Series design team. They put in some insane, amazing work on this guy. And I don't know why anyone would ever doubt them at this point. This guy is just a beautiful figure. So, that's kind of what I gotta say. I can keep on glazing the Star Wars team, or I can get on to another review. So I think I'm gonna cut it here and go start working on something else for you guys. So thank you all so much for hanging out, for listening to a guy ramble about Star Wars toys. Always a fun time. And I hope that you come back for the next one. We have more figures coming very soon. I've got some discussion type videos that I've been kind of sitting on for a little while that are finally time to get put back up, and we're jumping back on the horse, trying to get back onto daily uploads here real quick. So anyway, we'll see you next time. May the Force be with you, and until next time, have a good day.